Is hospitalized and a woman is dead following a shooting happening right here on the 300 block of Gillette Boulevard on the city's south side. Coming up at GMSA at 9, I'll have more details.
Plus the latest plans for the upcoming school year in Uvalde and what the district is doing to make sure parents feel comfortable sending their kids back to school.
Outside with live cam, it was a beautiful sunrise. We're a little bit cooler than we have been, it seems like, recently this time of day. And some of you just might win the rain lottery tonight.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Just don't forget to do the quick pick. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. It is July 14th.
Thanks for joining us. We'll get to weather and traffic in just a minute, but right now we have a local news story for you.
That's right. We begin with a deadly situation at a home on the city's south side, a double shooting that one person survived.
The shooting involves a family, and police say they are investigating what drove an adult son to shoot his stepdad and to shoot and kill his mother.
This happened on Gillette Boulevard around 2 this morning. Jonathan Cotto shares what we know so far.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. Terrible situation happening earlier this morning. Family is starting to arrive and they have a lot of questions. They want to know what happened and why. San Antonio police were called out to this home on the 300 block of Gillette on the city's south side just after 2 this morning. We're not too far from Loop 410. Police tell us it was a family disturbance that escalated to extreme violence. In this case, a man in his 40s shooting his stepdad and his own mother. The stepdad was grazed by a bullet in the head and was taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He is expected to be okay. The mom, unfortunately, was pronounced dead at the scene by EMS. And to make this situation even more tragic, the suspect's 9-year-old daughter did live at this home with her grandparents and fortunately did not witness the shooting this morning. Police say she is in police custody and are hoping to reach out to family who may be able to watch over her. Now, we are learning the suspect did take off from the scene. He was later caught at his home. He has been taken into custody. This case remains under investigation. Reporting from the south side, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Let's look at today's 9 at 9. As the investigation into the deadly school shooting continues, Uvalde Consolidated ISD announced their plans for the upcoming school year. It includes realigning campuses to take in Robb Elementary students and staff, plus school security upgrades at each campus. The town has already seen a big increase in private school enrollment since the shooting.
COVID-19 infection rates are high in Bexar County, and doctors say highly contagious subvariants are to blame. Metro Health says the new variants make up about 70% of the new cases. Vaccinations are still helping prevent hospitalizations and deaths.
You might be able to get a fourth kind of COVID vaccine in the U.S. soon. The vaccine from Novavax now has FDA emergency use authorization. The CDC is expected to recommend it as soon as this month. It's unlike the other 3 vaccines because it uses protein fragments to teach the body how to fight COVID.
The bodies of 26 Mexican migrants who died inside a semi-truck here in San Antonio a few weeks ago are being returned to their home country. The Mexican Air Force began the process yesterday. The rest of the migrants that died were from Guatemala and Honduras. A Homeland Security agent says this was the deadliest smuggling incident in U.S. history. 4 people have been charged.
The House will vote on 2 bills aimed at boosting abortion rights tomorrow. The Ensuring Access to Abortion Act would protect a woman's right to travel to seek an abortion, and the Women's Health Protection Act calls for the codification of abortion rights into federal law. But the bills are not expected to win the 10 Republican votes needed to pass the Senate.
New details are emerging about potential witness tampering allegations directed at former President Donald Trump. Sources say Trump tried to call a member of the White House support staff who is talking to the White House Select Committee. Because the support staffer did not routinely communicate with the former president, they were concerned about the call and informed their attorney. The January 6th committee has reportedly supplied the information to the Department of Justice.
Steve Bannon is asking again for a delay to the start of his trial next Monday. He is facing contempt of Congress charges. He cited Tuesday's January 6th committee hearing and the release of a new CNN documentary about him for the delay request. He said those 2 things could influence the jury against him. The hearing is scheduled for today to discuss the matter.
The new numbers from the Consumer Price Index were worse than expected. The measurement of inflation was up 9.1% compared to this time last year. The increase driven by high prices for food, fuel, even rent. President Biden called the inflation unacceptably high, but indicated prices may have peaked.
The Biden administration is proposing changes to the federal student loan system that would help keep interest and principal separate. The rule would limit the number of ways interest can be added to a principal balance. If the change makes it through a formal review process, it will take effect as early as next summer. And that's today's 9 at 9. And taking a look outside with a live cam, kind of creeping up there to 82 degrees. But this morning, we were actually in the 70s for a little bit.
Which is amazing. First time we've been below 80 since the weekend. Pretty incredible. We've had a stretch here. In fact, a record-setting stretch of temperatures above 80 degrees. Yes, we did fall below 80 this morning, though. We're thankful for that. We're also thankful for some chances of rain. Another triple-digit day today, we think, 14th in a row. But by this afternoon, we do expect some storms to develop. And this evening, there is a decent chance for some rain. We could see some gusty winds with some of these storms as well. I don't want to get your hopes up too much because we're going to have to watch very closely where these outflow boundaries set up and where these storms move. But I think there's an opportunity here as we look at northeast Texas. There is a cluster of storms there. That is the energy that moves in our direction later this afternoon and this evening. And we've bumped up rain chances now to 30%, some of the best chances we've had in a while. 104 today in New Braunfels, 100 though here in San Antonio, 104 Honda, 104 Uvalde. It will still be hot. But hopefully these, if we do get some showers and storms, it cools us down some. We're going to talk much more about these rain chances and also look ahead to the weekend, too. That's coming up in just a few minutes. But let's get over to Steven now with the latest on your traffic.
Thank you, Justin Horn. Let's get a look right now at the roadways. US 90 at Nogalitos. There is 37 at Jones, 410 at Evers. As you can see, we're really not seeing a lot of issues out there from these shots. But 35 at Wiedner is a different story. Nothing's been reported just yet, but we are seeing some slow-moving traffic down that corridor. 35, one of the many busy areas as folks are still probably trying to make their way into the Alamo City. But we'll have to watch that area closely as the morning does progress. But as you can see on TransGuide, a lot of relief on the roads. Quiet start to the morning, in fact, as well. We did have some problems off of Loop 1604 over on the northwest side. A crash that led to a pretty big buildup that stretched back to Babcock, but that is cleared out. And you can see right now just what we're really spotting are a lot of those active construction spots there along the loop, as well as some stalled vehicles that have remained on our map as well. We'll clear some of those out because we know they're not causing issues anymore. But just make sure you check your vehicles before you get out on the roadways. But let's go ahead and take it back to TransGuide because things are fine so far. 410 at Evers. Morning is off. People have been moving without, thankfully, a lot of trouble. But just remember to drive safe and keep your eyes on the road. Guys?
Thank you, Stephen. In your morning headlines, we have a warning for you if you're headed to the beach, and TikTok adding some filters.
Plus a skydiving record and some of the best vacation spots in the U.S. and around the world. David Sears is here to tell us where to go, right?
Yeah, they just left us off, though, because they know we're great. So it's like, well, they're the best, so we'll just leave them off the list.
So just get that out of the way.
Go with 2 through 10.
Of course.
So I have that in just a second. First, just something else to add to the list of things making this summer to remember. Inflation, COVID, heat wave, and now, just when you thought it might be safe to enjoy a trip to the beach, nope, sharks are showing up. Warmer weather and nice, good food supply availability. Lifeguards on beaches up and down the East Coast and the West Coast keeping a sharp eye out for sharks. There have been 5 shark attacks in 2 weeks off the coast of Long Island. Yesterday, a shark bit a surfer on the leg. Officials think it was a tiger shark. After getting bit, the shark started coming back at the surfer again. He punched it and then was able to catch a wave to safety. 25 miles away from that shark attack, another one. A man bitten on the backside and his wrist. He was in waist-deep water. That was it. He was taken to the hospital, expected to be okay. On the West Coast, the swimmer was attacked by a great white off Monterey. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks, got bit 3 times. So what gives?
Turns out I was bit ferociously by a shark right across my thighs and my abdomen, and it grabbed me and pulled me up and then dove me down in the water. I want to thank the Good Samaritans and the people on the beach and that lead-footed ambulance driver. Without all of you, I don't make it.
They've always been here, but they're closer to shore now. What we're looking at is something of a new normal.
There has been several great white sightings off the coast of New England, so if you headed there, or maybe just any beach, you want to stay alert, stay out of the water at dawn and dusk. That's their best feeding time. And then stay with a large group of people. All right, a lot of talk about TikTok these days. They are making a move. The social media app is going to start filtering out mature videos to keep youngsters from looking at them. We're talking about dieting videos, extreme fitness, and even mental health topics. They want to keep them from being viewed by teens between 13 and 17. They're doing the update, a lot of scrutiny about the potential harm of social media to teens these days. And how about something pretty impressive this morning? We are above Ohio watching skydivers jump out of a plane. This time it's 48 of them. They're jumping out of 3 different planes, and then they all managed to get together and create a formation. You can see them all coming together right there. The previous skydiving formation record, 33. That was over a decade ago. After a few seconds, they all let go, ripped the cord, and landed safely. And finally this morning, if you haven't planned your vacation yet, Time Magazine has a few ideas for you. They have put out their list of the world's greatest places in 2022. Here in the U.S., they have, check this list out, San Francisco, Detroit, Miami, Park City, Utah, and Portland, Oregon. If you want to get your passport stamped, they've got Jamaica, Chile's Easter Island, France, and a small Czech ski resort, Dolní Morava. And the list was put together by international correspondents and contributors to the magazine. All of the destinations are, quote, thriving, growing, changing, and investing in sustainability. Kind of like San Antonio. I think this is probably the best place to go, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. Yeah, Chile Easter Island sounds kind of exotic, doesn't it?
And I kind of want to Google that Czech ski resort, too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Beautiful country.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, David Sears. 9:09, about 82 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Law enforcement experts weigh in on possible repercussions that could follow the investigation into the Uvalde school shooting. Plus,
coming up next, details on a community being built around Texas A&M University San Antonio and why more people are moving to the south side.
Construction underway on a $250 million development that will bring homes, apartments, shops, and restaurants to San Antonio's south side.
the 600-acre community will be just north of Texas A&M University San Antonio's campus. Tiffany Huertas joins us live with the latest on this new community called Vida.
Good morning, Tiffany. So is there a need for more housing down there on the south side?
Yes, there is, because a lot of more employers are moving here. We have Navistar, and we also have big companies like Toyota, TJ Maxx. And what's really unique about this project is that they're focusing on students. They're building student housing. They're doing really cool spaces for students in our community. And just check it out. There's a lot of movement here this morning. Construction is underway, and we have the president of South Star Communities, a developer of this project, Thad Rutherford. Good morning, Thad. Talk to us about what's been happening this summer.
Yeah, good morning. Well, we're bringing the vision of Vida to reality, and we've been planning this for many years. Very excited about this regional center, and Vida is going to be a core of the regional center. And as you talked about, we're partnering with Texas A&M. We have Palo Alto College across the way, and we have an exciting announcement for UHS building a brand new hospital within the Vida community. So the whole idea is this summer is to open the doors of Vida to the public for the vision we've been creating for many years.
Talk to us about the restaurants, the different housing opportunities here.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, obviously we're going to have housing here. We're going to have multiple opportunities for rent, for sale, affordable, move-up housing. But even more exciting to us is to create a regional shopping district. We're going to call it, it's going to be surrounded by the Zocalo, which is a public open space. And that will have more of like an urban feel shopping district with retail, food, restaurant options, bars, you know, places where the students, the faculty, and the people that live in Vida and in the region can come shop and spend time in the south side.
University Health is also planning to build a hospital in this area. How is that going to impact this project?
So Vida's core components are education, health, and equity. And a big part of that equity and that health component, even in the education component, is a medical provider. So we've been working with UHS. We're very excited that they're going to build the first full-scale acute hospital here in the south side. They're working with Texas A&M. They're working with us. It's a great regional partnership, and we think that's just going to create just kind of a focus on living healthy within your community, being able to walk, being able to get education on health. It's kind of the holistic version, kind of core tenet of Vida San Antonio.
What does a timeline look like for this project?
So, it's a large-scale project, 600 acres of mixed use. We have houses for sale starting next month. Very excited to have 3 award-winning builders, 2 of which have never built in the South Side. We're very excited about that. But the overall project is going to take us about 10 to 15 years. We're excited about that. We don't want this to be a quick, massive growth. We want to be smart in our planning. And, we're very excited over the next couple months and the next couple years to have more announcements. And we really want the public to come down and check out Vida San Antonio.
I've been talking to a lot of residents on the South Side, and they're very excited. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to have all those details coming back on the noon show. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. We're at us live down on the South Side.
And right now we are still at 82 degrees. Hopefully we'll ease into hotter weather later this afternoon.
And we were stunned this morning on a drop down to 78 or so.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Just to drop below 80, that's a win because we've been above 80 for over 4 days now. It's been pretty incredible, an incredible stretch. The drop monitor is in this morning too. We always like to check in on Thursdays, and the situation has just gotten much, much worse. 94% of the state now in drought, and you look at our area, most of it's in exceptional drought. We know that. If you've been outside, you know that. Everything is so incredibly dry. We need some rain in the worst way. And you look at the not the Edwards Aquifer, Medina Lake, 12% full. So it is down quite a bit, down 66 feet now. It is down 13 feet just in the last 3 months. And this is going down by the day. So that's not a good situation there. How many days has it been since we've seen a half an inch of rain? 16 days. We got some back on June 28th, if you remember. But these numbers are astounding. When's the last time we had an inch of rain or more at San Antonio International Airport in one event? 161 days ago. And the last time we had 2 inches or more in an event? 262 days ago. It was way back in October. So we could really use a good soaking. I'm not saying we're going to get that today, but there is a chance that we could get some decent rain in spots. And here's why. We're watching this area right here. That is across northeast Texas, a little cluster of storms. Outflow boundary, that is forecast to move in our direction. If it arrives and times out correctly, we'll get some showers and storms going across our area, I think, and that's what the computer models are showing. So let's fast forward to 5 o'clock. We're going to start to bring the rain chances up to 30%, and you see the showers and storms developing generally north and east of San Antonio. That cluster works its way down into the city by, say, 6, 7 o'clock. Hill country could see some showers and storms, and then this works its way through by 10 o'clock and moves south and west. If this scenario plays out, it would be fantastic. Some potentially widespread rain. Now, I'm not going to guarantee everyone's going to get rain out of this. Again, it's going to be dependent on where that outflow boundary sets up, but it's looking more and more promising. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, just some clouds, and then tomorrow afternoon, 1 or 2 showers, but we bring the rain chances back down to 10%. As we go outside for you, clear skies, 82 degrees at the airport and at Stinson. And the dew points are up a little bit, so heat indices are again an issue. Feels like 86 at the airport, feels like 88 right now in New Braunfels when you factor in the humidity. And the heat index forecast today, we can see the heat index go as high as 107. Air temperature probably around 101, but it'll feel much, much warmer than that with the higher dew points this afternoon. So it is still dangerous heat. Hopefully, if we can get that rain in here, it brings the temperatures down some. So 94 by noontime, we'll call it mostly sunny, 97 by 1 p.m. We'll bring temperatures all the way up to 101, but then we start to bring in the rain chances. And by 5 o'clock, 30% chance of rain. And I'd say this evening about a 30% chance of rain through 8, 9 o'clock. And then the rain chances fall off. We also need to mention that Sahara dust is going to make a return. Oh, joy. Sunday into Monday, we're expecting those concentrations to jump up a little bit, so you may notice it in the atmosphere. And if you have allergies or whatever, it may get to you. So a heads up there. Here's the forecast. 30% chance of rain today, 10% chance tomorrow. But notice the temperature. We're bringing temperatures back down below 100 to 98 for, a day. But then we're back into the triple digits this weekend. And I do think we have some small rain chances that'll show up maybe Tuesday of next week. But we'll be keeping a close eye on the radar today. Have that KSAT weather app with you. We'll send out updates. Hopefully this plays out as the computer models are showing, guys.
It was weird. Just the other day, Steph was saying, I'd love more Saharan dust around here.
I think I heard her say that.
And then it's happening. So your wish is Justin's command.
No, actually, my wish is coming true tomorrow, 98. That looks really good.
That would be nice if we didn't bust 100.
Yes.
Justin, thank you. Just about 9:20 83 degrees.
And coming up next, the stay of execution granted due to testimony that was not accurate. Eric Hernandez explains what happens next in this case.
He was supposed to be executed yesterday by a lethal injection, but on Monday, convicted murderer Ramiro Gonzalez was granted a stay of execution.
The delay was not because he wanted to donate a kidney, rather because an expert witness who testified in his trial is now saying that testimony was not accurate.
Eric Hernandez breaks down what all this means and what's next in this case.
I have no qualms about dying.
Ramiro Gonzalez's life is spared again after his 6th day of execution. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals decided to revisit his sentence, which was for the 2001 kidnapping, rape, and murder of Bandera County teen Bridget Townsend. The latest delay coming after forensic psychiatrist Dr. Edward Grapon says his 2006 testimony during the trial was not correct. He told jurors that Gonzalez would likely commit sexual assault again and would be a future danger to the public.
He didn't use any real scientific assessments that would help him render the decision that he made, when it seems like he just did all of these things just based on the interview, which was wholly and entirely incorrect.
Local forensic psychologist Dr. John Delatorre, who has testified in criminal cases before, explains how the situation should have been handled.
I will agree that Mr. Gonzalez does present a risk to society. This psychiatrist really found himself in a problematic area because he's giving all of these things to someone who's 18 years old.
Dr. Grapon has since re-interviewed Gonzalez and is now saying that his sentence should be changed to life in prison.
So what happens next to Ramiro Gonzalez? Well, the Texas Attorney General's office could appeal the latest decision. If not, it goes back to the trial courts in Medina County, where a hearing would be held to determine if his sentence gets overturned to life sentence instead of the death penalty. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
926, 83 degrees. More ahead on GMSA at 9.
Including the latest issues that travelers are dealing with at some airports.
Plus, Lee Waldman tells us about the influx of private school enrollment that the city of Uvalde is seeing. Looking live outside right now. What's so funny? Kevin on our crew is over in the corner giggling. It's
because it's 9:29.
Well, that's not fair. He sits right by me.
Well, that's true. Here's my theory. It's one day closer to Friday and we're just happy.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. And I'm also excited because there is some rain in the forecast today. We are pumped about that. There are some chances late this afternoon and this evening. I want to show you the temperatures from yesterday. We got up to 100 in Kerrville, 104 in San Antonio, 105 in New Braunfels, 105 in Gonzales. The numbers... Well, it was the 13th day in a row we'd been above 100, but we put together a heck of a stretch here of the hot temperatures. It will be a little bit cooler today, and even tomorrow I think temperatures finally come back down below 100. Here is the satellite and radar. You can see where those storms are that we're highlighting up there near Dallas. Those are the ones that will work their way, that cluster will work its way towards our area this evening, and that's why we've brought rain chances up just a little bit. 94 noontime. Then as we get into the afternoon hours, 20% chance of rain at 4 o'clock. We're up to 101, so we still should make triple digits today. But a 30% chance of rain this evening. It'll still be hit or miss, but I think there's a little better shot at getting some rain than what we've seen here over the last couple of weeks. So we'll keep you posted. We're going to have more on this forecast and these cooler temperatures, if you will, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. A quick look outside with TransGuide. Another look there at I-35 at Wiedner, where things are a little slow going still, but they're moving.
Latest now on plans for the upcoming school year over in Uvalde after the deadly school shooting just 2 months ago.
Uvalde's first day of school is set for August 15th, and a letter was sent to parents yesterday explaining the district is adjusting campuses and realigning grade levels to better suit campus capacities.
Here's the plan. Students pre-K through 2nd will attend Dalton Elementary. 3rd and 4th grade will go to the Benson Educational Complex. 5th and 6th will attend Flores Elementary.
The letter also states a school year calendar adjustment will be proposed at a board meeting on Monday, but if it did not clarify what that adjustment would be. So you can read more about all these changes on our website at KSAT.com.
We're, of course, going to stay on top of this story. The district also announced new security measures like fencing, security cameras, and upgraded doors, locks, and more school police. But that may not be enough for some parents.
As Lee Waldman reports, some families are choosing to move away from the public school system altogether.
And we're on a target to be at least 100 students. Last year we started with 52.
The McCallie Christian Academy is under construction.
It probably looks see some of this.
Working to accommodate an influx of new students this year.
This here is now going to be another preschool room, which is we're going to be able to use that for our academy. And that's a large room.
Ever since the Robb Elementary shooting, interest and enrollment has been up.
Sometimes more than one a day, meeting with more than one family a day.
It's part of a growing trend. The Archdiocese of San Antonio says multiple Robb Elementary families are switching to Sacred Heart Catholic School. Private schools like Sacred Heart and McCallie will cost families several $1,000s per child per year. But their main questions center around one thing.
What do you do about safety?
The one entrance in and out of McCallie Christian Academy is locked at all times. A secretary will need to buzz you in, but when you get inside of the school, there are more safety precautions in place.
The school is surrounded by padlock gates. They have armed security on site and cameras covering nearly every inch.
Some additional protocols for safety on our classroom doors, and there'll be locked doors all the time.
And Uvalde Sacred Heart School just received similar upgrades. Security cameras, magnetic locks, a key card system, and wiring and hardwire throughout the school. Uvalde CISD announced they'll be using a $1 million gift from the Las Vegas Raiders to install new perimeter fencing, cameras, upgrading doors and locks, and hiring additional district police and security personnel. Necessary changes to adapt to a new normal.
10 years ago, we weren't as much concerned about safety as we are now.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
And the leaked video of what happened inside the hallways of Robb Elementary the day of the shooting leaves more questions about the law enforcement response than answers.
The one question that remains is why it took so long for law enforcement to engage and take down the shooter, and how, if at all, will any of these officers be held accountable?
Camelia Juarez took those questions to the experts and shares their take.
You're trained from your first day to do exactly what your superiors tell you to do, and you're trained by your superiors to do the things that you can.
Charlie Wilkinson is the executive director at Community Law Enforcement Association of Texas, or CLEAT, an organization that provides legal representation to various law enforcement who are accused of breaking their oath of duty.
The violation of oath is an accusation that no law enforcement officer could ever recover from in their career.
An officer who is found in violation of not doing their job can be terminated or lose their peace officer license. And along with that comes a negative report that can make it challenging to get another job in law enforcement.
Some people have lost their license for having a complaint against them for driving under influence of alcohol. Some people have lost their license because they're involved in conduct unbecoming.
If an officer is found to be negligent or doesn't follow their duty, an officer can face civil lawsuits or criminal charges from the state and federal government. In the case of the Uvalde shooting, so far no civil lawsuits or criminal charges have been filed against the responding officers. But Wilkinson says more information is needed.
We need to be talking about, are people properly trained? Did they know what to do? And then was there someone there that assumed responsibility? And who was really in charge? We find out those things, then the families can be served and at least know something.
Now, there have been lawsuits filed in connection with the shooting at Robb Elementary, but so far no criminal charges have been filed. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Well, parents of 4 children killed at Robb Elementary are showing their anger, not necessarily at the newly released video, but at the weapon that took their children's lives.
They joined parents and survivors from other mass shootings at yesterday's March 4th rally in Washington, D.C. Ursula Perry shows their emotional message to lawmakers and warning to other parents.
The March on Washington offering lawmakers a visceral image of the pain Uvalde parents are living with every day.
want y'all to know that every night I wake up at 3 in the morning and my wife is sitting there crying, wondering why she's alive and our daughter isn't. I promise you, you do not want this to happen to you.
For the surviving kids like Noah Orona, parents are describing an uncertainty from all the trauma that lies ahead.
No matter how much counseling, no matter how much therapy, he will never be the same.
These parents joining a chorus of loved ones and survivors of other shootings, no longer asking for a change, but demanding a ban on assault-type weapons.
I picked up the sheet, was wrapping her body, and saw her wounds that pierced her little heart. My little girl fought there at the school till she couldn't no more. Our gloves are off. We're here to kick some ass.
And there are a lot of what ifs. What if I had taken her home after the award ceremony? But there is one question that should be on the forefront of their minds. What if the gunman never had access to an assault weapon?
And while many questions remain about the Uvalde shooting, sadly, that is the one we likely already know the answer to. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Switching now to the latest coronavirus news, the BA4 and 5 strains make up the majority of cases in the country.
Pfizer and Moderna hope to release their own new vaccine in the fall to help better target the strains.
Patty Santos tells us how these subvariants are impacting the San Antonio community.
Telly Dolge tested positive 4 days ago.
I had not remembered feeling that sick before, ever.
Atalia Lara is still recovering from her bout with COVID 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I have experienced a lot of shortness of breath, which is, I went to the doctor today for that because I was like, what is going on?
Both were vaccinated and boosted and had dodged the virus since the pandemic started, but both likely contracted the highly transmissible Omicron variants of BA4 or BA5 currently circulating our community,
which make up more than about 70% of all new COVID-19 infections.
Metro Health is closely monitoring the rising COVID infections. They say BA1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Omicron variants are all out there, and you can get all of them back to back.
This will lead to more breakthrough infections. This will lead to more new cases that will be documented here in our communities.
The risk level today is high with 336 hospitalizations, 19 patients on ventilators, 58 in the ICU, and 1 new death. Baptist Health Dr. Dwayne Hospenthal says early studies show all these subvariants spread quickly, but there's good news.
It really looks like if you've gotten your first 1 or 2 shots followed by a booster at 6 to 12 months, that you're probably protected still against serious disease, even with these new variants.
It's still with us, and so really please be safe.
Both Dolge and Laura attribute their quick recovery to the vaccine, but say getting COVID was an awful experience.
I would not want to go through that ever again.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
And if you need to get a COVID vaccine, the city is holding a clinic at the Frank Garrett Center tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we're going to have all that information on our website at ksat.com.
9:40, 84 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Coming up next, problems with lost luggage giving travelers headaches and what you can do if you're flying to try and avoid this problem.
Well, people flying for their summer vacations are reporting more and more chaos.
First, there were delays and cancellations. Now they're trying to find their luggage.
ABC's Andrea Fujii has the story and some tips to avoid issues.
This morning, as the summer travel season heats up, passenger frustrations hitting a boiling point. Pat Armelini lost her bags nearly 2 weeks ago, returning to Florida from Paris.
Every day that I check, it says that it is being traced and to check back later. And I've been doing that now every day for 13 days.
London's Heathrow Airport unable to keep up with the flood of suitcases, thousands piling up.
If you think airports are bad in the U.S., you have no idea what you're in for in many European airports.
Delta now making the rare move of chartering a jet like this one just to deliver bags stranded in Europe back to their owners in the U.S. The big problem? Airport staffing levels haven't kept up with the massive surge in post-pandemic travel.
The U.S. dropped its testing requirement, which now has inspired millions of Americans to travel back to Europe, and they simply don't have the staff.
Heathrow Airport now limiting the number of daily passengers coming through. Amsterdam's airport making a similar move. Tips to avoid the chaos? Book a non-stop flight. If you must make a connection, pick a smaller airport or one with typically good weather, and fly early in the day. Because of those airport restrictions in Europe, some airlines will likely have to cancel or reroute flights, potentially causing more chaos for travelers. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
9:45.
So Justin was talking about earlier that tomorrow we could possibly not see the triple digits.
Incredible, right?
Sure.
It is looking as though we may stay just below that 100-degree threshold.
Wow. We'll take
something
it,
to look forward to. Also, we dropped down to 79 this morning. You guys remarked about that earlier. We spent 4 days and 22 hours above 80 degrees. That is a record, at least since 1946. We know for sure we have not been above 80 for that long of a period. So pretty incredible, this stretch that we've been under with these triple-digit temperatures in the afternoon. You look at the time lapse this morning. We had clear skies, allowed us see those temperatures drop just a little bit. Right now we're sitting at 82, southerly winds at about 8 miles per hour. And the satellite picture is giving us the all clear. There is hardly a cloud in the sky, at least at this hour. That does change later today. Temperature-wise, mostly in the 80s, 84 degrees, Helotes, 82 Boulevardy, 79 Burning Stage, 81 right now, Comfort, 79 out in beautiful Lost Maples. And as we look to the north and east, this is what I want to watch, this cluster of storms here. This is going to put down an outflow boundary, and it should work in our direction a little bit later today. The computer models are picking up on that. And as we go forward in time here, by 4 p.m., 4-5, it has it starting to move into the area. So we're going to bring rain chances up to 30%. Again, I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, and not everyone's going to get rain out of this, it doesn't appear, but this is more widespread than we've seen in a while. And then this works its way towards San Antonio, 6 to 7 p.m. this evening, and then working south and west by about 10 p.m., probably falling apart a little bit with the loss of daytime heating. And I should point out that whatever storms we do see, they could put down some gusty winds. The atmosphere, the setup is there for that. So just a heads up, that would be the one threat we'd have when talking about severe weather or anything like that. I think gusty winds would be really our only issue. And as we get into tomorrow, there is another shot at maybe a few isolated showers and storms, although less of a chance, and I think the better shot is going to be closer to the coast tomorrow. Despite the fact we do have that chance for rain this afternoon and this evening, temperatures still make their way up above 100 today. I think 101 here in San Antonio. Parts of the hill country could stay below that threshold today. And these numbers are cooler than what we've seen last couple of days. More humidity will allow for higher heat indices, though, and that's why we still have heat advisories in place today. 107 is what it could feel like around 4 o'clock with that temperature of 101. And so the heat index is still very much a problem. 30% chance of storms this evening, 101 the high temperature, 98 Friday with a very small chance of rain. I think the weekend is generally dry. There could be some showers closer to the coast, but temperatures make their way back up around 100. That'll be the case next week, too. I'm watching Tuesday. Looks like we could see a few more showers and storms. A pattern setting up for that. But we're hoping for tonight that it plays out the way that the computer models are showing. They're pretty consistent with this. And hopefully you get a downpour where you live.
I don't live too far from Justin Horn, so I'm hoping to hear a yippee later tonight.
Oh, I'll be posting about it.
Okay, good.
I'll be posting about it because my plants need it in the worst way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for you.
Thank you, sir. 9:49, 84 degrees.
When we come back, a look at a new movie out based on a best-selling novel.
Tomorrow on GMSA at 9, a story of a local teen that took the stage in Broadway and walked away with thousands of dollars in scholarship money. How years of acting led him to this moment.
9:52, Where the Crawdads Sing made a splash at bookstores upon its release back in 2018 has gone to become one of the best-selling books of all time.
Now producer Reese Witherspoon brings the mysterious drama to the big screen with the help of 2 rising stars.
CNN's Rick Damigella gives us a look at the movie that just came out in theaters yesterday.
Sometimes I feel so invisible. I wonder if I'm here at all.
You are. A marsh-set romance that turns deadly.
Being isolated was one thing.
being hunted, quite another.
Where the Crawdads Sing is based on the best-selling book and follows a young woman fighting to prove her innocence following the death of her ex-boyfriend. Stars Daisy Edgar Jones and Taylor John Smith felt the pressure of embodying these beloved characters.
It's always going to be slightly different and just, wanting to kind of provide, I guess, a different avenue and angle and perspective on those characters that, can complement the one that they've created in their head.
I knew I was in trouble when my sisters called me to really confirm that I was taking part in the book, and they've never cared about anything that I've done before. And so when they let me know not to screw up Crawdads, I was well aware of how the rest of the world might feel.
You can't live alone in the marsh forever.
Watch me.
All right.
The pair had to become comfortable navigating motorboats for the film, a skill that came more naturally for one of the actors.
I think that was one of the saddest things I had to say goodbye to was the boat. I was like, aw, because you could go really fast and some of the days we were filming, we had about 2 weeks of purely boat scenes and some of the stunts as well I got to do myself, like, driving really fast around this corner and mooring up and like running through the trees, and I just loved it so much.
Am I your girlfriend now?
Do you want to be?
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And the Wonderland of the Americas Mall is expecting to fill some space with San Antonio talent. The city of Balcones Heights bought nearly half the property to bring in new revenue.
And then in April, Santikos Theaters announced the Bijou would be leaving the mall. Now that the Woodlawn Theater will call the Wonderland of the Americas home early next year.
The theater is known for producing award-winning musicals for 10 years in the Deco District on Fredericksburg Road. The theater says the move will allow them to broaden its efforts.
City of Balcones Heights says this is a significant lease, which is positive for the bottom line and will help complement other entertainment options in that area. Spurs wrap up Summer League this afternoon against the Hawks. Tip-off set for 2 p.m. Spurs have yet to win a Summer League game. We will have highlights this afternoon coming up in our later newscasts.
And it's still clear right now. We got temperatures in mid-80s. We'll make it up to around 100 this afternoon. But what we're watching is that chance for storms this afternoon and this evening. Stuff that develops to our north and east will work in our direction. I'd say between 4 and 8 o'clock. That's kind of the time frame we want to watch. Hopefully we get some rain out of this. I don't think everybody will, but it's looking a little more promising than it has here in the last couple of weeks. So 30% chance of rain today, guys.
All right, don't forget, we were just talking about Balcones Heights. The Balcones Heights Jazz Festival kicks off tomorrow night.
Nice.
Tomorrow night. And then there's another one in 2 weeks. But get this, it's right there outside where the Bijou was, around the pool, the water fountain, that kind of feature there. People started putting out chairs for Friday's concert on Monday.
Wow.
No way.
Yep, that's the way it goes.
I missed that. I think I drove past there like a few days ago.
That's right.
I've heard it's awesome.
It is awesome. So again, it's tonight. It's featuring Rob Zinn and Jeff Ryan as the headliners. And then coming up on July 29th, Peter White is the headliner. And I will be out there for that one.
Well, very good. It'll be cooler in the evening, right?
Yes, we hope.
All right, bye guys.